welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking to you all things Instagram. Now, I often get questions about how I grew on Instagram and what my tips are, so I thought I would create a video to share them all with you, and hopefully this will help you guys who are maybe struggling or you're wanting a bit of advice. So I'm going to start with creating an account, because I feel like for those of you who are new, or if you are thinking about starting, hopefully this will help those of you. I will get into the more interesting stuff, but I thought I'd start with as if I was creating an account. When you create an account, you have to choose a name, and choosing a name can be quite difficult. I've been through many trying to work out what it was that I wanted, but if I give you one piece of advice, it would be to use your name, because it makes it so much more personal but also easier. People can kind of know who you are, they know your name, they know a little bit more about you. Obviously, if you don't want to share your name, that is absolutely fine. A lot of people don't, but having your name in your kind of account name makes it a little bit easier. People know your name and know who you are. I've often gone to like speak to people that I've met and gone to call them their Instagram name, but that's not actually their name. So I'm not saying that you have to choose your name, but it can be a bit confusing sometimes because you forget that someone's not called their Instagram name. I often get called Charlotte Olivia and they think Olivia is my surname, but it's not. So yeah, Charlotte Olivia is my name, first and middle name. But yeah, so just pick a name that's kind of like easy, that's not too confusing. Obviously you can change it at a later date, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, pick a name that's like easy and people can easily know who you are. Does that even make any sense? Next, we move on to content. Now, content is like the biggest part of having an Instagram account. You have to create content to put out there. That's the whole point of Instagram, and you have to kind of decide what is it that you want to create. Now, for example, for me, I like to do street style pictures, and I have done for years now. At this current moment in time, I'm doing a lot of home content because we can't go out. But street style is like my favourite thing. I love to shoot pictures of my outfits, and doing them street style makes it a little bit more realistic, makes it more kind of natural, and you know, like a place where you might wear that outfit. So I really like street style, but you might really like doing home content. You might really like shooting beauty makeup videos inside. You might really like to do travel content. Whatever it is, choose your kind of like niche, I guess. It's difficult to know. Sometimes you have to just kind of go and hope for the best. When I first started, did not do street style. I did home content because I wanted to build up my profile. I didn't really know what I was doing. I'll post a picture on here of what my Instagram profile used to look like. It's still on my Instagram actually. And I did a lot of just like blank white walls and all that kind of stuff, and it wasn't until I went on a trip to Mykonos that then changed my thought process on how I wanted to shoot my content. So yeah, just kind of choose what you want to create. So if you want to create fashion, then you know you want to do fashion, so that's a good place to start. Next, you need to think about how you're going to create this content, how you're going to do it. So you want to think about, right, okay, so I want to create fashion content. How am I going to do it? Am I going to shoot it inside? Am I going to shoot it outside? Obviously, at this moment in time, we can't go and shoot outside, but think about that. What is it that you want to create, and how do you want to create it? For instance, I'm like, right, I wanted to create fashion content, so I'm like, I'm going to go outside and shoot. Obviously not right now, but at the moment I'm shooting inside because I still want to create my fashion content. So I'm shooting inside, I'm moving things around, I'm creating content at home, and that's how I'm doing it at the moment. So really think about how you're doing it. What can you use within your space that can help you create content? Then you want to think about what you want to shoot your content on. Now, a lot of people use various different things. I use my Olympus pen camera. I love it. It's my favorite thing. It's my little baby. I love it so much. I always shoot content on there. Unless I'm doing mirror selfies, then I use my iPhone, which is the iPhone 11 Pro Max, for anyone who's wondering. I don't really particularly like iPhone content. I don't think it's as good quality as my camera, which is why I always use my camera. But I do obviously take mirror selfies, and they are done on my phone. So you just got to think about what you want to use. Phone content is amazing. Like, don't think that I don't hate iPhone content, I just don't like the pictures that I create on my iPhone. So I definitely think use your iPhone, but it just doesn't work for me. I don't know why, I just don't really like them. I think it's because I just love my camera so much that when it comes to iPhone content, I'm like, it's not giving me Olympus pen vibes, it's giving me iPhone vibes, and I don't like that. The last thing I want to mention before I get onto the next thing is just to be yourself. When you're creating content, it's really important to be you and not try and be someone else. People want to follow you for you and the person you are rather than someone you're trying to be. So just be yourself and kind of enjoy it and do things that you would do, not like someone else is doing. So next up is filter. Now, when you create your photos, you have often put a filter on to make them look a little bit nicer. I love to use Lightroom when it comes to putting filters on my photos. I find Lightroom amazing. I create my own preset and I just apply it to my photos and change it about. If you'd like me to sell my presets, let me know, because it's something I'm definitely interested in doing, but I only want to do it if you guys want it. But you can also use other apps like VSCO Cam. You can use the Tezza app, which is amazing. You could use the Instagram filters. There's so many different apps you can edit on. You don't necessarily need to use Lightroom, but the Lightroom app is free, so you can play around with it. It's definitely worth like having a go and seeing if it's something you like. If you don't, then scrap it, but definitely worth trying. With the filter that you choose, you want to make sure that you apply it to every photo, even if you change the contrast and the brightness with each photo, because that way your feed will look consistent and everything will work well together. If you use different filters for different things, it can sometimes look a little bit mismatched and doesn't really work. So by having one filter, it means that everything kind of works together. You could have different filters, but make sure the filters like work together. Otherwise, yeah, it just doesn't work if you've got like one really cold coloured picture and then one really like loads of really warm pictures. You want to have something that's consistent, so people see your pictures and they're like, there's another one of so-and-so's pictures, there's another one of so-and-so's pictures. Do you know what I mean? So now you've got your photos all ready, you're ready to post. So posting is something that is very personal to everyone. Everyone has different times that they like to post and what works for them. It's definitely a bit of trial and error. When you choose your posting time, you want to make sure that you're posting when works for you, when works for your followers. It's very difficult because you won't know unless you try. I post in the morning. I've posted in the morning for quite a few years now, and it's changed the timings because of the job that I was doing. I used to post at around 7 AM when I used to work as a VM in store. And then when I started working in London, I posted a little bit later, so it was about like 7:30. And now it's like 7:30 to 8 o'clock in the morning, sometimes a bit later. Usually between 7:45 and 8 o'clock in the morning is when I usually post. But I'm starting to post a little bit more in the evenings as well. Sometimes content performs amazing in the evenings for me and sometimes it doesn't. Some people only post in the evenings because that works for them. I like to post in the mornings. I feel like it's like part of my ritual. Get up, post my Instagram picture, engage with all my other pictures on Instagram, you know. So I like to post in the morning, but like I said, you've got to work out what works for you, and not everyone will work well in the morning. And you might find your posts do amazingly well at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's just a trial and error, really. Another thing when it comes to posting is that you want to make sure you post at least once a day. I post once a day, sometimes post twice a day. If you're new, I recommend posting at least twice a day, maybe 3 times a day, just to get your content up so you have like a little bit of a feed. Otherwise it just looks a bit weird if you've got like 2 photos on there. You want people to be able to see the other content that you've created. So if you're new, post quite a few photos, post like 3 times a day, just to kind of build up your content so that when people see your profile they can actually look at what you've done rather than just seeing, like I said, a couple of photos. Next up is location tagging. Now, location tagging is something that really helped me grow. I don't know how well it works now because obviously moving to Amsterdam it changed everything. But when I started working in London, I started tagging London and it really helped. So definitely use location tagging. It helps people around that area find similar accounts, find people that may shoot near them. It often helps people inspire them to maybe go and take photos wherever you've taken photos. For instance, I used to live in Cambridge, and well, my parents live in Cambridge, and I used to shoot in Cambridge, and I found a lot of people following me from Cambridge because they found my content through me tagging Cambridge. So it's really, really important that you tag your location. You don't have to do it. I don't think it's necessarily something you need to do, but it does help if you're wanting to grow. Like I said, I don't know how well it works now, because since I've been in Amsterdam, it doesn't really work the same as it used to, but definitely use it. It definitely helps, and if it brings a few more people to your account, then it's definitely worth it. Next is hashtags. Now, hashtags is something that used to work so well, and now is a bit hit and miss. So what I would say when it comes to hashtags is use hashtags that relate to your post. Make sure you change them each time. Make sure they're not constantly the same. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. I always put them on my photos. I like to make sure that I have them, because sometimes they do help, and sometimes they do boost your picture, and sometimes they don't. So it's kind of a bit of like, just put them there and hope for the best. They used to work so well, but they just don't work the same anymore. But it's definitely worth using them. But yeah, just be concise with the ones you choose, and don't choose ones that aren't going to work for you. Next up is engagement. So engagement is one of the most important things when it comes to having a Instagram account and wanting to grow. You have to engage. So that means replying to comments on your photos, chatting with the people that like your pictures, liking other people's pictures and commenting on their photos, finding new people to follow, engaging with them. When someone likes your picture, maybe go and like one of their pictures. It's all about just kind of creating a community and like, you know, like really chatting with the people that like your content. I always like to try and reply to all of my comments. I don't reply to all of them because it's hard to get back to them all, but I try to reply to all of them when I can. I like to create conversation. I like to make sure people know that their comment has been seen. I think it's quite nice because people really appreciate when you reply to their comment. And I know from my experience previously, before I like got to where I am now, when I comment on someone's picture that I absolutely loved, you know, when you find your favorite blogger and you're like, oh my god, I love your dress, and they reply to you, you instantly like, and it's just such a good feeling. So I always like to make sure that I reply to everyone's comments. But engagement is so important. I think especially now, you want to make sure that people keep coming back to you and that you're not ignoring your audience. You want people to know that you're really interested in them being there. And engagement is something that does take time, and I totally understand if you're someone who works full time, you can't reply to comments straight away. But just when you can, reply to your comments, engage with people. I often like to post my picture, leave it a little bit, and then reply to some comments. If you're posting in the mornings before you're at work, you have a little bit of time to reply to comments. If you're taking a break, you can always reply to comments. Obviously, Instagram isn't everyone's like everything. You've got other things to do, which is normal, so just do it when you can. But engaging with your audience is so important, and I think if you take one thing away from this whole video, is that engagement is key. It's so key to make sure that you're kind of creating a family of people that like to follow you. That leads me to the next one, which is follow like-minded accounts. Now, we all follow people that we love, like it's just natural. Like if you're a blogger or Instagrammer, you follow people that create similar content or like have similar style to you, or they inspire you. So follow accounts that are like-minded to you, they're similar to you, they're something you enjoy. Don't follow people for the sake of following people. Something I've learned in the past is, you know, you start an account, you're chatting to people, you want people to follow you, which is normal. But just don't go and follow everyone, because it's the worst thing when you end up following someone that you don't really like their content and you're stuck with it then, and you feel guilty to unfollow them, so you end up keep following them and they just end up being there for so long. So make sure you follow people you genuinely like the content of. Don't just follow people for the sake of it, because you end up getting followers that, yeah, they may like your content, but if you're not engaging with their content, then, you know, they may end up unfollowing you, and then it makes the whole thing pointless. So make sure you follow people that have similar style, similar vibe. They may not have the same style as you, but as long as you're inspired by them and you like their content, then it's obviously worth following. You can follow people that don't necessarily like the content of. You may follow people like your friends or your family or someone that you used to know that you're curious of and you want to follow them. You don't have to like just stick to people that inspire you that way, but just make sure if you're following like bloggers and stuff, you follow people that you actually like the content of. Now we move into IG stories. So stories are something that I have found to be very useful, and it's a really good way of people seeing the real you, just kind of getting to know you, getting to know what you sound like, putting kind of like a voice and a face and a person to the pictures, because it's all well and good knowing someone's face and knowing what they look like, but when you don't know what they sound like, it can be a little bit weird. I've definitely had this in the past where I've like really liked someone's content and I've imagined what they sound like, and then they've posted a like chatty story and they don't sound anything like what I thought, and it's kind of like, it kind of messes with your brain a little bit. You're like, what? In like a kind of way where you're like, oh, I really didn't imagine this correctly. But I think it's really good. People can relate to you a little bit more if they can hear you chatting, hear you talking about things, even if you're just chatting about what you have for breakfast. Do you know what I mean? Like, people like to see what you're doing. They like to see your life. Obviously, Instagram is a highlight reel and you can post whatever you want on there. But people just want to see what you're doing and what you're up to and want to chat to you and want to say hi, and I think it's really nice. I love watching Instagram stories just to see like that, maybe it's just to see what people are up to, and sometimes you feel a bit like, oh, I'm not doing anything, and then you see someone else that are like just sat on the sofa and you're like, okay, I'm not the only person. So it's just nice. It's nice to kind of know that other people, what other people are doing, and that they may be doing similar things to you, or people go to events and stuff. It's just really good to see what people are up to. Next is IGTV. IGTV is one of my new favorite things. If you follow me on Instagram, which I hope you do if you're watching this video, IGTV is one of the things that I found to be really good for me. Obviously I love style, I love fashion, I love putting outfits together, and I do a lot of styling videos on IGTV, and they do really well for me and people really like them, so I continue to do them. If you're thinking about doing IGTV, I 100% recommend doing it. It's a really good way of getting yourself comfortable in front of a camera. You don't have to talk in front of a camera. I don't talk when I do my IGTV styling videos, but it's a really good way of just kind of feeling comfortable in front of the camera, because you're moving. Sometimes when you're static, it's completely different. So yeah, it's a really good way of doing that. You can film them on your phone, on a camera, whatever you have, and you can edit them on iMovie. I think you can get an iMovie app on your phone, so you don't actually necessarily need a laptop or anything, or you can use the Film app. I think you can edit on that app as well. But IGTV is really good. Just, I think my top tip with IGTV is just to kind of create the content, edit it together. If you like it, post it. It may not necessarily do well to begin with, but the more videos you create, the more you learn, and I think that's a really key thing with IGTV, that, you know, you kind of work out what works for you and what people like, and then kind of work from there. But IGTV videos often do get boosted by Instagram because it's video content, and especially with apps like TikTok, video content is being boosted a little bit more at the moment, so worth giving a go if you are wanting to try out a little bit of IGTV. Next up is ads. So we all want to be able to get to the point where we are working with brands and creating ads for brands. I just want to say that it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, and I don't want any of you thinking that, you know, you'll be able to get campaigns like that. It takes time, and I think if you're really passionate about this, then, you know, you'll get there eventually, and you'll get there when you get there. Some people, it takes them like, I don't know, a couple of months and they've already got a paid job. Some people, it takes them years. It took me 2 years before I got a paid job. So yeah, just wanted to point that out. Ads don't happen overnight, but one thing you can do to help yourself is to create content for a brand, So for instance, say you've got a really nice River Island dress and you love this dress, create content that you absolutely love wearing that dress. You can send it to them, you can tag them in it, and make sure that that way they can see your content, and maybe that will lead on to gifting or an ad at a later date. So there's definitely things you can do to kind of help yourself get to that point, but I do think it's important to not think that you're going to get paid straight away. It does take time, and if you're passionate about it, then obviously you'll keep going and eventually you will get to that point. But I just wanted to make sure that I spoke about that, because I know that you know, a lot of people want to create money through Instagram, and it does take a little bit of time before you get there. And it doesn't matter about your follower account either, I must mention that. You don't have to have thousands and thousands of followers to get a paid ad. It just really depends on your content and what a brand is looking for. So yeah, tag brands, tag use their hashtags, and then hopefully they will see your content through that. One more thing before I go on to apps that I like to use is bots. I just wanted to quickly mention, don't use bots. It's not worth it. People will call you out for it. Bots is like the absolute no-go of Instagram, so don't do it. It's not good. Like, it's really not good. You want to have an authentic audience, and you want people to follow you because they like your content, not random people on the internet or random little accounts. It's not worth it. Just don't bother. Don't use them. No, absolute no-go. Don't use bots. I've got nothing else to say on that matter. Lastly, before I end this video, I just wanted to talk about apps that you can use to help you create your content. There's only a few that I use. I don't really use that many apps, but I thought I'd share the ones that I do know and that I do use. So obviously, as I've already mentioned, the editing apps that I use, Lightroom's a great one, VSCO Cam, Tezza, Instagram for filters. Some other apps to use are Filmapp. Filmapp is the app that's partially created by Zoe Sugg, and it's amazing. It's great for adding filters on video content if you're creating video content for your feed or IGTV content. Really, really good. I think you can edit on there. I'm not 100%. Think you can. You can put filters and stuff on your videos. It's really, really like easy app. It's really nice to just add a nice filter to your videos. Sometimes your videos maybe look a bit bland, so adding a nice like filter or a bit of dust filter over the top can look really nice. Then we go into UNUM. If you don't know what UNUM is, it's genuinely an app that everyone needs. It's just a way of organizing and planning your Instagram. So you have, let me show you, you have like squares available. I haven't got that many squares available like here, and you can move the pictures around and like plan your feed so that you can see what your pictures look like together. It's so useful, like genuinely find it so useful, because I'll end up like being like, I want to post this picture next, and then put it in next to the pictures I've already posted. I'm like, okay, that doesn't work. So you can really make it look nice and make sure that your feed looks aesthetically pleasing. If you're not fussed about that, then you don't need to use this app, but I am definitely one of those people that likes make sure things look nice. So I love the app, it's great. And another app you can use to create content is Unfold. Unfold is amazing for creating story content. I think it's I genuinely love the app. I use it quite a lot actually. Not all the time, but when you're doing maybe like you want to do certain types of stories and you want them to look consistent, Unfold is really good to do that. And there's lots of like fonts and things you can use on there that maybe Instagram doesn't have, so it's quite nice to like have different stories to make them look a little bit different. It's good to be a bit more creative with your stories rather than just using what Instagram has on the story section, if you know what I mean. So that is everything that I have to share with you today. I hope these tips were useful. I hope you found them useful. Do let me know if you did. If you'd like me to do any more of these videos, maybe talking about one particular thing, editing Instagram pictures, IGTV, stories, whatever, I would happily do that. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, guys, and I will speak to you all in my next video.